we will see. It's a roundtable discussion we normally have on a Friday. But I'm going to have to get started anyhow because the time is here. I only have from 2 to 4. I got to make good use of it. And sometimes you people are very much concerned. And I can't blame you because I have a responsibility to you and also to the radio station and to the nation at large in being able to do a proper show for the Bahamian people to answer questions. Of course, you know Monday is Constitution Day, and I love Constitution Days where we can talk about the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Let me say this, I was discussing with my sister as I was coming here. I have no problem with having a woman prime minister in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas because you notice now Mexico has its first woman president. We gave the males plenty time, from 1729 right on up to now. And unfortunately, most of these males have taken the Bahamian people for granted. They were given authority to run the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Every opportunity to repent, but they didn't repent. But they still want to hold on to power. We can't keep operating like that. That is not in our best interest. And we have more women voting than men in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So right there you have an advantage of women. And let me tell you, for 50 years plus, from the day when I started out, women were always the backbone of my work. Now, there were some men. I'm not saying there were no men. So let me make that very clear. I had some strong male leadership. But when I started out more than 50 years ago, the women were always there. They make the men look good. I don't understand why you males out here doing foolishness and nonsense against the Bahamian women. You got to stop your crap. Bahamian women, I would encourage you to unite because men out here, including myself, and other men will support a woman prime minister. They have no problem with that. It may be good for the Bahamas to have a woman prime minister because the males have had every available opportunity to do so, and they have failed miserably. Even the one you got there now has failed. We can't keep electing males to keep failing. That nonsense has to stop. We have a country to save, and it may very well take a Deborah to do that. You see, God does allow you to go through some experiences to teach you some sense. And I hope the Bahamian people are going to learn, because this time I'm going to make sure that you do not make the mistakes of the past. I'm going to work very hard at that. That we get a national government that can solve national problems. That we can get representatives in the constituencies to solve constituency problems. I heard of a particular lady who is running for one of our inner cities right here on the island of New Providence. She means well, and that's good. The thing is that we need persons of character and decency. You have to look at the individual personality, not the political party. Because too many of you have been voting for a political party, a political candidate, but you don't get any parliamentary representation. I can speak more to that on Monday. I'm going to go in depth into that. You haven't gotten that in 51 years. What you have today are party personalities sitting in the House of Assembly seats, all 39 of them. They're not no parliamentary representatives. They ought to be, but they're not performing as parliamentary representatives. They pass all kind of crap. No consultation with the people. And the people out there are suffering because these particular personalities you've given this authority to have abandoned and neglected their responsibility as parliamentary representatives. They hang on to that party label. Let me give you a simple example. You're members in Barnabas Church, but you work the BTC. When you go to St. Barnabas Church, nobody asks you where you work, because the different members in St. Barnabas Church work to different places. And you never make the mistake of going to BTC on a Sunday morning at 11 o'clock when you know St. Barnabas having church. But Monday morning, 9 o'clock, you at BTC to do the business of BTC. You do not tell those people in St. Barnabas Church on Sunday, listen, tomorrow morning, you come with me to BTC. Well, they got other jobs to go to. But they're all members of St. Barnabas Church. And they don't get that mixed up either. And their jobs do not say whether you are members in Barnabas Church or not. They don't ask them anything about that. But they're on-demand job and they're working and hopefully producing well. I draw this simple analogy to give you to understand the importance of constituency and party. Most of you haven't gotten that yet. I can make sure you get it on Monday, because we have to delve deep into that. You are not going to be saved by a political party. The Constitution allows for them to exist, but the constituents, the registered constituents in that particular constituency are the ones who the electors, according to the Constitution, to choose a what? Parliamentary representative. They haven't been doing that. Even the party itself has to put up a candidate. Do you know that? So that tells you it stops right there. The party itself cannot go any further than that. They have to put up a candidate. Now, you may be a member of that party. You don't have to vote for that candidate. That's a weightless candidate. So what you voting for that particular personality for? You already know that ahead of time. They gave you a weightless personality until you vote for this particular personality. You tell them no. Because it's not good for you, it is not good for your constituency. So why waste time? The party cannot help you. And this is where people get party and government mixed. See, you could stay in your party. You could do what you want to do in your party. But you cannot have the government of the Bahamas. See, Bahamians, that's where you draw the line. So you may be a member of that party. You don't have to vote for that particular person. You could tell them, no, I ain't voting for you. And here's the catch. See how constitutionally sound. Ask them some basic, fundamental, constitutional issues and see how they'll answer you. And you'll notice from 51 years of experience, not one single party has ever mentioned the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. In 51 years now, every last one of them write all kind of crap on scraps of paper and tell you they're going to run things that way. That's why the country's all messed up now. But you bought into the crap. I didn't say, you know something, let me just think about this now. Is this particular personality constitutionally sound? And then with those who are there now, it's a simple test, you know. What major constituency problems have you solved for us in this particular constituency? And here are the clear-cut benefits that come to you as a result of these major constituency problems having been solved. Because see, if you're a representative and you ain't doing that, what you want to keep them in the house for? For what? To make some more money? To get rich off you? To get contracts? And you send them to represent you and you ain't get one major constituency problem, you just move them out of the way. You could scratch them off your list. It's not even worth considering them. Because what are you looking for? A parliamentary representative. That's what you're looking for. Not a party personality. I have to go to great lengths to explain this. I can go in depth in this on Monday. That's Constitution Day. Because Bahamians, I am going to show you from the scriptures and from the Constitution how to make the right choice in choosing a parliamentary representative. You have to have God in this knowledge. See, we have rejected the knowledge of God. The Constitution says we are to be a Christian nation under the authority of God. And God is not in our knowledge. We're choosing needles without eyes. That's why the cloth can't get so. We have messed up this country by picking needles without eyes. And Bahamians, you can't get nowhere with that. We've made very bad choices for the last 51 years. Very bad choices. And so you've got bad choices for the government of the Bahamas. If you have a strong representative, you'll have a strong government. If you have a weak representative, you're going to have a weak government or a weightless government. That's what you can get. That's what you've been getting for 51 years. And you have been giving a political party a landslide of seats. For 25 years and 9 months under Pinling, you did that. And what happened was the trust and confidence of the Bahamian people gradually eroded over that 25 years and 9 months. So Lyndon Pinling meant well for the Bahamian people. But the personalities who surrounded him, who were with him, I spoke to one of them just before he died. That particular personality didn't want to even appear to say anything to the public. Just turned it down. And that's his right. But he's in his grave now. I spoke to another one in the cabinet, in the former cabinet. That particular personality has declined to appear. So you can see where this trend is going. I can call some others too, you know. I won't name them publicly yet, but I think I have a right to name them publicly. But I won't do that yet. But I'll tell you this, you gave these people all kinds of benefits and power and authority to run this country, and all they did was run it straight under the ground. They were never constitutionally sound. Because I am going to hit them with the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which they themselves do not know. Never knew it, never understood it. But yet they had all this great power, great authority, running this place and run it amok. Now they're sitting pretty with all these benefits that they accrued to themselves, you know. They ask you for no permission. They pass a law in the House, say they can get this benefit, that benefit, the next benefit. And you sat right there and let them do the crap. God will judge those personalities. And we know exactly and precisely who they are. The one who I asked recently, still living, still breathing. The one before that who I had asked, that one is in his grave. That's where he is today. So he died with all of that accumulated knowledge and wisdom. Well, if he should be wise, but he carried it to the grave with him. He refused to share it with the Bahamian people. That's the kind of people. So you got to be careful who you're choosing. Don't make that mistake when the opportunity presents itself, because we've made too many mistakes over the last 51 years. We have to stop the foolishness. The lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. I was listening to another radio show, and they were talking about North Andros, the potential that's in North Andros, two personalities who are up there. And anyone listening from North Andros, I'd like for you to call in, because we don't hear much from the Family Island people. 813-0271. You call on that line. 813-0271. I'd like to hear from the people in the Family Islands. Family Islands, you are supposed to be a part of this nation. But do not sit in the dark and allow people to walk all over you. You have to let us know what's happening. That's why we have the radio station. You can call in. You can send me an email, sidneymthompson@hotmail.com. You can call the radio station and leave, as someone did, I think, from Long Island. That's good. I haven't heard from the person yet. But I did get the message. The person was calling for me. And I don't know how it got all out there, but that's fine. But that person can call the radio station, leave their name and number, contact, or send me an email, sidneymthompson@hotmail.com, SIDNEY Thompson, THOMPSON, @hotmail.com. And put your contacts in there and your name and number and everything like that. I'll get in touch with you. And thank you for those people in Grand Bahama who've been calling in the show and sent me their names. I'm going to be in touch with all of you in Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama is very important to this nation. Grand Bahama must succeed. We're depending on you, Grand Bahama. You can help New Providence to succeed when you succeed. And we can help Andros to succeed, to the largest island, I believe, in the Caribbean, is in our country. So we got to take advantage of these things, Bahamians. We got so much potential. The two callers called in show said the massive potential that exists in Andros, North Andros. That's the northern side. Maybe when they get to the central and the southern side. We have a wonderful country, but unfortunately, we just don't have the right kind of leadership. That's our problem. We do not have people who are constitutionally sound to run our country. Because if we were running it according to the Constitution, we'd be in much better shape than we are right now. But we're not. So Bahamians, you got to wake up, because we cannot keep making the same foolish mistakes over and over again. We're going down as a nation. And some wolves and some cheats are out there ready to take the nation unto themselves. But God gave them their own nation. The point is, we cannot afford to lose the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Our mothers and fathers have fought hard to give us what we have today. So we have to do better. We cannot afford to lose our country. And let me get back to the top of the show when I was talking about the women. The women have done well in the Bahamas. Let's give the woman a chance to be prime minister. What's wrong with you people? Mexico did it for the first time in its history. And it was the men that helped her to become the president. Do you understand that? Plenty of men out here won't help you, So women, you have the numbers. Use your numerical strength. Don't let no male deceive you and mislead you. I'm grateful for those women who've been working with me for 51 years plus. That makes me look good. So when you see me come to the studio, it ain't me, It's them working in the background, doing everything. These women work good. That's why I want to commend the women. I want to keep saying that because without them, there will be no Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. Might as well give it to you straight. Now we have some men with us. Not enough. They need to pull up their socks and begin to do some things that are vital and necessary and important because God has given the man a place and he's given a place to the woman as well. The women of this country have borne the brunt of rearing children, running things, running businesses, winning the homes, and doing everything. Now, with me as a child, I had mommy and daddy. I always talk about it. Always had mommy and daddy, as young as I am. I never got tired of seeing them, because they took a lot of heat for me and 11 other pigeons in the house. That's a total of 12. Now, both of them are deceased, but I still have a few that are older than I am. But be that as it may, Bahamians, we have to hold on to what the Lord has given us. Our mothers and fathers never wanted a country without God. Now, these fellows who run in things, they want nothing to do with God. Dr. P talked about that yesterday. They got a strange agenda of wickedness and corruption. And God does not agree with it. So we could throw that right out. That's unconstitutional. Article 2 of your Constitution. Anything that's unconstitutional, you reject. Because many of these potential candidates who are coming to say they want to be in the House of Assembly, they can bring a lot of crap to you. And all you do is line them up. Are they constitutionally sound? They ain't constitutionally sound. Bing! Out the window. Into the garbage bin. Don't even waste time with them. You have to find the right person, and God will help you to find the right person. They ain't playing this time. All this crap that's been going on for 51 years, it got to stop in our 52nd year. That's why Professor asked you for his 18 months. I still want my 18 months now. Don't think I forget that. July the 8th, I told you that. And I'm dead serious about that. 18 months to solve one major constituency problem with the cooperation of the constituents in that particular constituency. That's what the Constitution tells me. Article 24(1). It didn't say professor must be an activist and say he could do it. No, I ain't going that way. I go in constitutional way. I go in the legal way. I'm going the biblical way. And you got to have some righteous people now. You can't have no wicked people fooling around with your things. Wicked people cannot help you, Bahamians. They have very bad intentions. And they will keep you down as others in the past have kept you down for 51 years plus. We're going to break that in our 52nd year. Bahamians, there's a lot that we have to do. And I can be doing my part. And I'm going to be calling on your support now because I'm going to need it financially, morally, spiritually, physically, every single way. Because the Constitution is your salvation document. Don't let anyone mislead you and deceive you when it comes to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas and the Holy Bible. The two of them have to go together now. The Holy Bible and the Constitution. And you will find many candidates will come to you asking for your vote, and you have to turn them down. They're not biblically sound. They're not constitutionally sound. You don't have to waste time with them. And those who are there now, all you got to do is ask one question. What major constituency problems have you solved? in that particular constituency. Obey him as if they ain't doing nothing. You got to kick them out. It's as simple as that. Why waste time talking foolishness and nonsense? When the next fella got one show and he say he grading the candidates. Oh no, not the candidate, the representatives, and sending out a survey and asking people questions. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But see, I ain't gonna waste that kind of time. I am going to go straight to you. What major constituency problems have they solved? If they ain't do nothing, kick them out. Just as simple as that. Why waste time talking about who you like and who you don't like? Why waste time talking about comparing this one and that one and the constituency all broke up? Didn't I tell you we don't have any proper lighting in the night? Did I tell you that yesterday? That's unconstitutional, Bahamians. It is contrary to your constitution, which says no man, woman, or child should have their lives frustrated by deprivation. You need proper street lighting. You don't have it. That's unconstitutional. You need proper roads, good roads. I did say pure, but I didn't mean to say pure. Good quality roads, Bahamians, without holes in them. And if you got holes in the road, that's unconstitutional. Your car get break up, then what? Who's going to fix it? These unconstitutional things that are happening to you every living day. You didn't think it was a. The Constitution says no man, woman, or child shall ever be deprived. Bahamians, you can't have that. Deprivation. No proper street lighting. Come on, Bahamians. Wait till I start talking about the crime. Look like there's a runaway thing with crime in this country. I have one of my guests here. He's sitting quietly. I can bring him on out to the show. The break, not the show, the breaks. I got to get it right. See, sometimes I get so excited when I'm here in front of these live microphones. I just sometimes forget that the man is there. I got to let him speak. Now, Monday, is my day. Ain't nobody coming in here on Monday. So I got to hold off for Monday. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. Let me thank the women of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Bahamian women. Organize yourselves. I want a woman prime minister. I tired of these males. Ain't nothing happening with them. Give us a woman prime minister. The men are here ready to help you and support you. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this. A chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and Global Radio 99.5FM.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. This is a great day to be in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Open line Friday. We want you to call in, and we heard from some other people who called from Grand Bahama. I was delighted when I heard those people calling in from Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama, you got to keep it up now. Don't disappoint me, because I ain't going to disappoint you, because I'm planning to come down there. And we're working on some things now to work everything out so we can spend some time in Grand Bahama, because Grand Bahama must succeed. We're depending on Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama plays a major role in national affairs in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Grand Bahama say you can have new problems, you can have all them family islands, but you got to be in the forefront. And I'm delighted to see that you are organizing yourselves down there, because I got a report of what has been happening down there, and I'm well pleased what I heard. And so let's hope it continues to get better. Caller, you're live on air. Go ahead, please.
Hey, Professor.
Hey, what you say?
How you doing?
I'm doing well today.
Wonderful. Since you weren't here, a woman prime minister.
Now, we want a woman prime minister. We tired of these.
I could call.
No, hold on. We're tired of these males, man. We ain't got no men. We're tired of the males.
Yeah.
If we could find a real man to be prime minister, then fine. But the women have held up this country for more than 51 years. I am telling you from personal experience. When I started out, 51 years and counting, the women have stood by me from day one. They make me look good when I appear on the station, It's them. If it wasn't for them, there'll be no Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson. I just tell you the way it is. Now, we got some men, but we ain't got enough. We need more. Go ahead, caller.
Two names off the top. Loretta Butler Turner and Miss Hannah Martin.
Okay.
It's the two traits what I can think about off the top. See, what's wrong with this country? When we have leaders, I think leaders use their power with their friends when they're friends in problems or family in problems.
Yes.
If they will let the law be the law and carry out, the Bahamas wouldn't be in the mess that it is in today.
I agree.
There's too much people. When their friends get locked up, they can maybe allege call this place and the next place. And when you look, the people let them out.
Yeah, they out. Yeah, that's correct.
So this is the problem. All of this is a part of corruption.
Okay.
You see, because they use their power. But if they will turn, even though you're in court, the judge may want to help you. But because he going what the law say, he cannot help you. You see? And this is the way we supposed to run this country. You may be the minister, yes. You may do this in this ministry. But if the law say, if you do this, this what's going to happen to you, we have to let it go like that.
But when the police officers came to the man and asked him to assist him, the man said he don't run the police force, say he can't help them. Is that constitutional?
We know better than that. We know better than that. We ain't just born yesterday.
Well, he talking foolishness, that's all I can tell you.
Talking foolishness is a serious thing.
Talking a bunch of crap.
Okay. Well, we will see the day will come. I see that you were saying last night in one of the schools or someplace, bathroom for one and all. So it means that you're the transgender.
Wait. Hold, slow down a little bit now. Repeat that. Take that a little slow for me.
I don't know if this is in one of the government school or someplace anyway they was talking about last night. Bathroom for one and all. Where you a male transgender or female, you could use this bathroom. But they are saying that will never happen here in the Bahamas, nor you'll never see a transgender teaching little children.
That
Now-
bathroom can get broke up. That's what's gonna happen to that.
Beg your pardon?
That bathroom can get broke up. You just rip it out and
Okay.
throw it outside.
So, could a transgender teach? If there's no law here for that here, could a transgender teach
Let me
children
put,
here inside the Bahamas?
let me put it this way. See, the government of the Bahamas has not put its foot down on any number of things that these foreigners are pushing on us. We have a constitution. It is contrary to constitutional values to go in that direction. We are a nation under God. God does not accept transgenders with this foolishness and nonsense. He don't accept homosexuals and lesbians. Let's be clean about that. The Bible condemns it to the highest. So we can't accept it. It's just as simple as that. If the government want to play dancing games, let them keep playing dancing games. But the Bahamian people don't have to accept it. Period. That's it. Just like other nations have risen up against the government and tell them, no, you ain't going nowhere with this crap. We do the same thing here. See, what has happened is because the Bahamian people have been laid back, these particular personalities right now who are there, very vicious and very evil. And they want to push every single thing on us and think we're stupid and foolish. But they have another day coming.
So could a homosexual or lesbian teach inside the public school or any other school?
Let them raise their ugly head and let's see what happened to them.
Well, you don't think there's no homosexual teaching in these schools?
Let's put it like this. If you want to live that in your closet life, stay right where you are. You bring that out publicly and talking foolishness and nonsense, you're just not going to last long. You're not going to last long.
Well,
that's what's going to happen to
well,
you.
in this Bahamas ain't nothing going to hide because it's being noon. You find out that homosexual and lesbian is teaching inside the public school and the private school.
If they are pushing their wicked lifestyle on people, there's a way to deal with them. Now, hold on. Those who have, see, this is why I say you need information. Now, I got some information yesterday. I won't say much about it right now. Just say I got some information, very solid information on a particular national issue, which has been plaguing the Bahamas for years. See, all I want is information, you know. Information that is solid, that is accurate, that is precise. We'll deal with them. Let them raise their ugly head and talk crap.
That's true.
No, see, this is what you need. You can't go by hearsay. I was talking with some people yesterday, and I told them, no, we can't operate like that. Let us get the facts, hardcore evidence. And those people who know and who are serious about saving this country, let them come forward. That's all they have to do.
I see. I on the news, Donald Trump's wife said, she not worrying about what Donald Trump said. She believed that a woman is right in her own body to do what she feel like doing.
Yeah.
Now we know now when you hear your wife come out like that in the public,
that's right.
You know there's problem inside the home.
Of course, big problems.
And she's not afraid no more.
She ain't afraid of him because of who he is. She's not afraid of him because of who he is.
Okay.
And you can put a man unstable to be your president. That's what you want.
But the angelic them are making this man, putting this man like this man is a savior.
He's not.
They believe that he's a savior.
Just like someone is promoting a particular personality in this country as the savior of the Bahamian people. That is also false.
The lady came on, I think was Monday, on a colleague show that said Ms. Harris is given the rights to the prisoners if they want to be transgender inside the prison. And give them the right to vote if they want right vote.
Is that true or false?
That is false.
Okay then.
But it's just that, see, I don't know where these people are getting this kind of information from, and then he allowing them to come on this radio because he is campaigning for Trump, and he allowing these people to say these things,
Okay.
and he's not stopping these people and saying, no. Where you get this information from?
Yes. I
Thank
believe
you,
my
yeah.
guest wants to ask you a question. Go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, caller.
Caller, stay on.
Yeah, don't go. This is something I would like to say to all Bahamians, not only to you. But I notice over and over things that affect America and the way they are governed. For me, it's not my concern.
Right.
And I notice every Bahamian when they get on the talk show, they worry about Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. But none of you guys worry about what's happening in your own country. This is our country. This is our sovereignty. You can't. We cannot vote in America. You got to understand this, and this is what I'm about to say. The Bahamas is governed by a constitutional monarchy. Totally different system from the United States, which is a republic. And for me, I care less about the American policy because why? Their policies and whatever they do is only geared to protect Americans.
That's right.
But for us here in the Bahamas, like I heard the professor said earlier, he was hoping that we will be able to sit down and have a woman prime minister. My thing is this: I have no problem with anyone, whether it's female or male, being prime minister of the Bahamas. But my thing is this: are they constitutionally sound?
Exactly.
What we've been doing was electing a lot of people party-wise. We were not electing parliamentarians because those people who we thought were parliamentarians, many of them, I would almost put my head on the my hand on the chopping block. 99% of them do not know the Constitution.
That's correct.
So what you have is in a parliament, a bunch of party affiliates,
Yes.
not parliamentarians. Because when you're a parliamentarian, your key representation and your oath is to, one, the country and the constituency of the constituents who elect you.
Yeah.
How many of us sat down and watched and see in the constituency we live, are we seeing the members of parliament try to do anything to uplift the livelihood of Bahamians?
Exactly.
You know, I've had people say to me, oh, well, this constitution ain't working. I always say to them, the Constitution is not a political document.
That's right.
It is a document for you who sits in parliament, because here's the thing. This Constitution gives power to three set of people. It divides the people who are the electors, and it gives power to those who elected, who are the parliamentarians. But whatever law they pass, if it has a referendum attached to it, they must go to that, and then it's passed on to the Governor General. If the Governor General doesn't sign off on that document, that is not law. See, we keep looking at other countries, not looking intently at us. We are the people who decide. We, the electors. If you look at your preamble, it tells you we, the inheritors and successors. So I just don't mind me. I get upset when I hear people keep referring about Donald Trump and Ms. Harris and them.
Yes.
For me, they have no effect on my livelihood. When my brother is sitting home sick, or my sister somewhere can't feed a children, Donald Trump nor Ms. Harris could help them.
That's right.
We got to stop worrying about Americans, start worrying about Bahamas. This is our home. Why you think so many migrants and everybody else come here? Because why? They say the Bahamians don't want this land.
Yes.
We don't want it. I keep hearing everywhere I go, people talk, but you hear what's happening in America. I said, listen, man, that's why we have all this problem we have in our country. We looking over other people's pot instead of looking at the pot we cooking.
Exactly.
That's why every Tom, Dick, and Harry who wants to come to the Bahamas, why you think some of these people are getting status?
Exactly.
We ain't defending this land that God gave us.
Yes.
You know, I always admired my great mentor, the late Carlton Francis, because when I look at this document called the Constitution, I know he had a major factor in it because he was a man of the faith, man of God. He will talk. You see, if the Constitution talks about the Constitution, the God of the Bahamas,
yes,
spirituality, Christianity values. These are the things we should hold dear to ourselves. Exactly. Stop worrying about America, because America cannot save us.
That's right.
We have a different policy. We have a different culture. And I get upset when I hear people talk about bigging up America, no more but the Bahamas.
Exactly. Now,
Okay.
two quick points.
Yeah, make it quick, caller, because we
Okay.
have some others on the line.
On Monday, I think it was 40. I think it's 46. Maybe Haitian was trying to get off. I think it was one man and two men, one woman
Mhm.
was carrying them on the boat, and they get catch. We don't hear the name of these individuals yet. Who was taking these Haitian, wherever? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to cut the caller because he's distracted.
I think we
Um,
also got
We have another caller.
Yeah, Philo on straight line also.
Oh, Brother Hyla, Brother Hyla, just hang on. We'll get to you. Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Hey, how are you?
Everything blessed. And good afternoon, the guests, and good afternoon, Bahamas.
Yeah.
Professor, I thank you for teaching me with the Constitution, man. And man, Professor, when you listen here, Professor, I get with a Bible scripture today. I get with Hosea chapter 4, and Professor, I just wonder why people think the humans are fools.
Yes.
And all we do is study. I don't understand this, man. That's all I get with today. I get with Hosea chapter 4. Professor, y'all have a blessed day. Let's finish listening to the show.
Well, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
caller.
very much. Yeah. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Yeah. I believe we got, you said we got Brother Hyla on the line.
Yeah, so straight line.
Brother Hyla, welcome to the show. This is Friday. We have roundtable discussion. Go ahead, please.
Good day, Professor.
Yes. Sir.
Good day, Mr. Cartwright.
Good day, sir.
Good day, Bahamas. Don't mind me. I'm actually more interested in hearing what the people have to say, where their minds are at, and I also always look forward to our conversation on Fridays,
Yeah.
where we teach what we can. And Cartwright was so interesting. I would say that things are managed in such a way in the Bahamas. We've been hearing about a low morale in the Bahamas. And I believe, Cartwright, that although this shouldn't be, it's almost like I believe some of the people are looking for outside intervention, or when they look to America, they know we need to look at our own situation here at home. But when you talk about specifically the amount of persons that's still trying to recoup their money from government. We discussed that last week.
Yeah.
Those that have not become pensionable, those that have not become permanent. You know how serious that is? We have to sit down and spend maybe a day just talking about that.
Okay.
When you have a government administration that will let 5 years pass, another 5 years pass, another 5 years pass, and persons are calling out to say, well, I've been working with this organization 10, 15 years. I want to become permanent. At what point will a person become permanent after investing this much time, this amount of their life, in building the country?
Yeah.
And then they're not pensionable. They cannot collect anything from the pension fund. So there are layers to this frustration. And people tend to look at, at other countries, or they may look at America, and they're learning some things from America. I'll bring one more point, and then I'll rest a bit. Cartwright, Professor Thompson, I look at the strike that was going on,
Yes.
and apparently there's a quick resolution. They say there was a delay. I'm looking at the Bahama Journal now. They're saying it's a delay until January 15th.
Yes.
But look how quick action was achieved. Look how quick. When the people stood up and said, we are not going to tolerate this.
That's right.
We're not going to take no more of this. All of a sudden, the powers that be come running to the table. When I heard a clip 2 days ago, the union leader said, listen, we do not want to disrupt any services. That's not what we want. But promises were made, things are outstanding, and our jobs are very important to the flow of products, whether it be hair care products, whether it be automobiles, and Christmas is basically right here.
Yes.
Should the Lord tarry. So you don't want to be playing around with the union October going into November, when this is the time right now as we speak, when the supplies are arriving intended for late November and the December season. So I just want to say that, you know, we shouldn't have to look outside of the country to learn. But at this stage, what is happening now is not working for the Bahamian people. We are not prospering in the most prosperous country in the region.
Yes.
The individual Bahamian is struggling. We heard from Grand Bahama. We have farmers. We have business persons that are being disenfranchised after investing a lot of money. And they're not feeling that support. They're not feeling that their matters are being resolved. They're facing problem after problem. And one more thing, because somebody got to explain this to me. Our government have some of the greatest debt and owing people in the whole region. Now, Mr. Halkidas is talking about he don't think it's too soon to be confiscating people land, taking their land away from them and their buildings because they owe property tax. That is the height of being disingenuous. That is the height of being hypocritical to say these business people are not paying that, they're not paying their share. The Bahamas government is not paying their share. The Bahamas government owes the people over $120 million. That's just one group of people they owe that. And they don't know when they're going to get their money. So I rest on that particular point. You can't take people land and turn around and say they didn't pay their tax. The government is not paying their due. But people are being lenient with them. So I just rest on that today.
Let me see if I understand you. What did you say? I just want to make sure I get it in my head. I heard the last part. That's fine. What did you say the minister for, what is the economic minister?
Minister of State.
Minister of State in the Prime
finance.
Minister's office. Okay.
In finance.
Could you explain again specifically what you understand him to say?
He was asked by the media if they were not quick or too quick in rushing to confiscate, basically, to auction off land owning to families and business persons because of outstanding taxes.
The media asked him.
Yes, direct questioning.
Okay, all right, okay.
And his response was no. They've been trying to collect the taxes for some time.
So, Brother Hylo, is the minister saying that these taxes were owed before they came to power, or it was just owed under their regime? Because it makes no sense that if persons owe the state taxes, right? I believe that you should basically call them or send them an email or a letter saying, listen, I do not want to possess your property, but this is what we see. You have not been paying your real property tax. And with you saying that, right, because I've had someone approach me and told me about some incidents that they saw pertaining to some family of mine. And I said to them, I said, I don't know. I said, I'll have to reach out to my family and find out what's going on, because I don't believe that no government, if people know that their taxes to pay, and this is one of the things that if I do take from America is that we should have a set date, a set frame where you allowed to go and pay your taxes, or if that date lapsed, that you could come in and pay down until it's completely paid off.
Okay.
I don't like the way this government, and I wouldn't say don't this government, I don't like the way the governments of the Bahamas has this attitude whereby that when they lack money, they become thugs by bullying people. Oh, well, you can't pay me, I take your land or I take your business. That is not good governance. But I will continue this after the jingle.
Well, it seems we're going to break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. This is Open Line Friday, 813-0271, 362-0271, 362-0272. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this. From Cable Beach to Montague, it's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network, 99.5 FM. This is Open Line Friday. The lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. We also have Facebook. We also have 974, that's the cable thing you can look at. And we also have the radio, and we also have YouTube, Global YouTube. We're having an interesting discussion today on national issues. I started off talking about the Bahamian women, and I guess was talking about the fact that Bahamians become so excited about what's happening in the United States. And it is to the detriment of our own country. We can't continue to operate in a way that our own country continues to suffer while we're interested in somebody else's pot, what they're cooking, and not watching what we are having in our own pot. It is most important that we understand we in our 52nd year as an independent nation, we can learn from the experiences of other nations. We have a very strong constitution that we need to apply. Most of you don't know it. And not knowing is something you have to put into the past now, because you got to get to know how to challenge the government of the Bahamas when they go contrary to the Constitution, and compliment them when they act in accordance with the Constitution. For the last 51 years, they've been acting contrary to the Constitution. And that's the part we got to fix. So the only way you can put the kind of pressure on them is to ask these constitutional questions. And if they can't answer these constitutional questions, then they ain't fit to be in no House of Assembly. What you putting them there for? Just to waste time? Wasted 51 years. We're in our 52nd year now. We will have the opportunity to make sound decisions and good judgments. But we cannot afford to keep wasting time every single day talking foolishness nonsense. We got to get ourselves ready. We got to get ourselves prepared. Organized around the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Bahamas. And the Constitution is our salvation document for this country, along with the Holy Bible. We have to do better. There are things we can do to help ourselves, and God will help us to move forward. Brother Cartwright?
Yeah, Professor, appreciate that. I would piggyback on something that's been happening in our country for a little while, going back to the situation in Grand Bahama.
Yes.
And after I did all of my research, I was appalled. Do you people in Grand Bahama understand that the agreement in the Hawksbill Creek, gives the Port Authority the power to become a regulator in the city of Freeport? You notice I didn't say Grand Bahama, the city of Freeport. Here's what happened. The government of the Bahamas had already repealed the Public Utilities Commission and replaced it with ERCA. Now, when the extension of the Hawksbill Creek was made, I think, under the Christie administration, they did not go to the Port Authority and say, listen, we cannot have two set of regulators. Constitutionally, we are the ones who make laws. Only us can decide who becomes a regulator in the Bahamas. And since we've repealed the Public Utility Commission and is now replacing it with ERCA, all utilities should come in line with ERCA and in line with the Constitution. What did the government of the Bahamas do? They created another law on top of an agreement.
Okay.
You have to repeat. You cannot have two set of regulators, because the Port Authority is not the government of the Bahamas. Grand Bahama, Freeport, Grand Bahama is in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
That's right.
So laws of the country should be abided by whether it's a foreign entity or a local entity. And now you've taken the powers that the people invested in you, and you give that power to a foreign entity. That's why the people of Grand Bahama are suffering with the utilities, with the energy. Because if you read the last paragraph in the ERCA point 2, it says that the Minister of Energy is responsible for rates. Means that the minister is responsible for that department of all energy.
Okay.
Yes. And the minister reports back to cabinet.
Okay.
Cabinet decides that minister must follow. So it means that anything pertaining to energy comes underneath not only the minister, but comes underneath the jurisdiction of the Bahamas government.
Okay.
The Port Authority is not the government. So when the government made that agreement with the port, that was many years ago. And when it came up for the time for the port with the extension, the government of the Bahamas is supposed to look at all of that agreement and say, listen, we can't have two set of people collecting money.
That is true.
And the government did not do their due diligence and did not do their duty. That is why we have this problem. Now, if you go after the port, they're going to try and find ways to say, well, hey, you signed this agreement. We ain't force you. So now you got to find a way to negotiate your way out of a mess, which you should have done a long time ago.
But they created the mess.
The government created the mess.
Yes.
And that is bad.
Let's bring Brother Haile in. Brother Haile, you still there?
I am still here.
Oh, okay.
Listen.
We didn't want to leave you out now. I hope you're still there. Go ahead, Brother Haile.
Boy, this is getting hot.
Yes.
Brother Cartwright, I agree with you. And I don't want to preempt our visit to Grand Bahama, but let's start praying for the peace of Grand Bahama right now. Because when they find out what those two different administrations has done, beginning with what you said, having these side agreements.
Yes.
Because what you're speaking to, and I can only give a little snippet of it now, but that East End agreement and West End agreement, the reason why the Port Authority can speak so strongly is because our prime ministers, plural, both colors and both sides of the divide, contributed to what you described, Cartwright, handing over power, regulatory power, unconstitutionally,
yes,
to the Port Authority. Our government signed an agreement saying that the port can set the rates. I believe Prime Minister Davis knows it. I believe Dr. Hubert Minnis knows. And I believe that Prime Minister Christie knew. They can't say that they didn't know. And when we presented to Grand Bahama, I mean, they know, I'm not saying that they don't know. We had a caller last week that spoke to it.
yes,
So they know, and they sip. They say, well, why is this way? Why is that way? But what the people don't know is you cannot repeal the Public Utilities Commission Act and then not repeal the regulatory power in the Hawksbill Creek Agreement, like
yes, that's correct.
Cartwright said.
Yes, he's correct.
And go one step further. They need to repeal, or the legal term abrogate, ABROGATE, abrogate the East and West End Agreement. Period. Then turn around and abrogate the regulatory clause in the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. You have to take those two actions. Last thing, if the government takes those two actions, the Port Authority, let me tell you something. If they decide they're going to go to court, then the Bahamas can decide they need to come out of the Bahamas altogether, because you cannot have an unruly company such as the Port Authority wanting to push back on a sovereign government's decision. So I'll leave it right there. Negligence has taken place, whether it has been intentional or unintentional. Meaning, if somebody wink at somebody else and allow a certain agreement to stay in place to the hurt of the Grand Bahamian people, then that action needs to be punished. They're talking about collect $357 million from the Port Authority. We need to sue the former prime ministers of the Bahamas for that $357 million for negligence and dereliction of duty.
Let me just say this. I'm happy that you and Brother Cartwright are bringing this up with such clarity, because it's important that the people of the Bahamas know what the government of the Bahamas, there's only one government, different administrations, but it's the same government of the Bahamas. These particular personalities who were given the trust and confidence of the Bahamian people what they have done primarily to the people of Grand Bahama and particularly to the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Bahamian people need to know with clarity and understand exactly and precisely what was signed by the prime ministers with these side agreements, which has caused all of this confusion, all of this. See, the Constitution says your lives are not supposed to be frustrated, you know, by being deprived. The people of Grand Bahama and the people of the Bahamas have been deprived of some basic fundamental things by the very persons who they trusted. The people trusted them. And all of them led the people down. Every single one of them. They have never admitted to doing anything wrong. All they jump up and say, we did nothing wrong. But you had the two of them. Massive landslide seats for the F&M. Massive landslide seats for the PLP. And what did you get? Crap. The two of them have misled and deceived the Bahamian people. It's the duty of the Bahamian people now to take appropriate action. I think everything needs to be put out on the table. Every single thing that we could find needs to put out on the table in the public eyes so the public could make a decision. This has to go to the people. You can't depend on these people. When they're talking about they signing heads of agreement, all kind of crappy things they're doing. It has destroyed the Bahamian people, particularly the people in Grand Bahama who have been hurting. And the people in New Providence have been hurting. We have to fix that. Do we have a caller, Mr. Producer? Caller, you live. I thought I got a signal from you that we did. Okay. All right. The lines are open, 326-0271, 326-0272, 813-0271. Bahamians, it is important. You see why I kept telling you to watch the government of Bahamas and know your constitution? Because some people have been doing some things that are not in our best interests. And I think it is time that we need to strip down that dark curtain, rip it apart, and allow this information to be made known all over the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
Yes, we got a Facebook question. Clyde Bullitt asked this question, and it makes me smile, and I have to laugh at it because he said, can a referendum be used to get rid of the Nationality Act? Well, Clyde, here's the main thing. You don't need a referendum to get rid of the Nationality Act, and here's the reason why. When the Constitution of the Bahamas was crafted, and when the Nationality Act was crafted, it was crafted under the old Constitution of 1969. Now, before it became enforced, the 1969 Constitution was the one that ran the country. This we had to operate by. But when the act became from an order to an independence, became your Constitution of 73, the first thing they said, all laws before, all laws after, if it doesn't coincide with this new Constitution, it is not law. Now, what they did in the leading up to 73 independence, they had the right. They basically voted, they assented, and it was a law. But then, when the new Constitution of 73 came into play, the Nationality Act fall by the way because it didn't conform to the new Constitution.
Okay, hold it right there, Brother Cartwright. I think we have a call on the line. Caller, you're live on here. Go ahead, please.
Hey, good afternoon, Professor, and good afternoon, the guest. I should let him finish with that. Professor, listen here. What we had in the years behind, we had in the Bahamas before, we never. Professor, I'm gonna say this before I finish. Go on. We had a Cuban man. He was an ambassador, and we used to one of them show. I ain't gonna call it your show, but he was talking. He say in Cuba they do not sell no kind of land. You could lease the land for a certain time, and then after the next generation, it come back. I know we used to do it, and there's someone gone and changed it. I don't know who do it, but that's what we used to do. We used to, my younger generation, when I was coming up, they used to lease the land like for 20 years and 30 years or whatever years. And now when this new generation come up, you got any problem? We can sit right down and wait for the lease to go up, and then we can go up. But now, Professor, check, see what's going on now. If someone changed the thing, because I know we don't used to sell the land, we used to lease the land for a certain time. So if you have any kind of problem, the Constitution, but I go on, they just touching things without our referendum, and we mix up like potato salad. That's where y'all going. Let my man finish going with that point.
Yes, caller.
Yeah,
You were right,
go ahead. Yeah, he's right.
The Removable Property Act, that was done by Mr. Ingram. As much as I respect him, in my opinion, that was a bad act. Because here's the thing. If you buy a car or you own a property and you sell that property for $1,000, $3,000, $5,000, and that guy take that property and he flips that property over by just whatever structure he puts on it, and he makes millions, sometimes billions. Then you look back and said, hold on, we sold this guy this property for a couple $1,000, and now he's raking it in. And guess what? It's legal. Here's what I would challenge the whole of 39 members of parliament. I would like to see somebody in parliament get up and table, because only parliamentarians can table a bill. Any one of them can do that. Table a bill to repeal that act that Mr. Ingram did. Yeah. And instead of us now just selling, you could only lease. Because I think now what I'm starting to see, and maybe I could be wrong in my assumption, but with this move where the government is now talking about seizing people properties for real property tax, to me, I feel that you have a hidden agenda whereby like I said, I'm only assuming that governments are now looking at whereby that you have foreign entities want certain properties in this country, and the government is now using the avenue of repossessing these properties, saying, well, you owe taxes on it, and then they will flip it over to whatever entity wants it. That is not right.
Yes.
That is not constitutional.
That's right.
If you want to do something, follow the guidelines of the Constitution.
Precisely.
Stop hiding behind and then using and picking pieces of it. And then we have 137 articles, Bahamians, in our Constitution. And we have 105 of those articles that comes with a referendum. Means that over 75% of our Constitution has a referendum attached to it.
Yes.
And I will say this again, please, Bahamians, even if you got to download it, take some time and you read it. Go through Article 54. Yes. Article 54 is the article which shows you all of the articles in the Bahamas Constitution which needs a referendum to bring changes. Yes. And you would be amazed when you start to take your time, because I tell you right now, you will not be able to learn all of this stuff in one day. But if you take it and read it in your spare time, you would be able to now challenge your government. You would be able to question any member of parliament based on your knowledge. You would be surprised how many of our parliamentarians don't know this Constitution from top to bottom, don't know it at all.
That's right.
I've sat in parliament and asked them questions when they go to break. And it pains me to see the reflection on those people's face that they can't give me a straight answer. You know, I had a question with a senior politician, and he said to me, we went over the Nationality Act. So we both agreed that the Nationality Act and the Constitution were crafted based on the 69 Constitution. So as we move into the 70s and after the day, they said, well, how are you guys giving out citizenship? And the Constitution gives you two age. If you were born in the Bahamas and your parents were non-Bahamians, you have until 18, no more than a year. And if you cannot renounce, you didn't qualify. Then it says, if you were born outside the Bahamas to a Bahamian female, then it points it out to you that you have until about 21. You
Yeah.
decide, and then you basically, once you can do that, we forward you and give you your documents. But the Nationality Act says you don't need to have no age. You could just turn around and just apply. So that's I said to him, sir. So you telling me a fella could just come in and apply at the age of 99 or 100? Then we went into the conversation of them adopting. I said, man, please, tell me which article I could look that up. I said, I see where the former prime minister and his tenure in office, Mr. Ingram, started to hear people say that people got citizenship from owning property in the Bahamas and becoming citizen. I was like, that's not constitutional. In none of the articles speaking about citizenship comes into play.
Yes.
A lot of these things, and I always tell people, sometimes you need to go back and review certain articles that were precedents sent down by the Privy Council. And here's why I say that. The Privy Council made a ruling with the Darcy Ryan case. And if they wanted to, they could have sent a judgment back to the Bahamas, where the Prime Minister of the Bahamas could have been held in contempt of court. The late Sir Lyndon was in contempt because the ruling was set. All he had to do the next day, once that ruling came back, sign off, Darcy Ryan got his citizenship.
Yes.
But Mr. Ryan didn't get his citizenship until he died.
That's too late then.
But these are the things that when you speak, I tell people, you have to know your constitution. You know, when I go to Parliament, people always crack joke at me, say, man, why you going? I said, man, I going to see how my country's supposed to be run. I think we got a caller. Go ahead, caller.
Caller, you live on air. Go ahead, please. Yes, sir.
And we saying Cartwright Thor.
Yeah, man. Yes,
Everything
sir.
blessed.
Yes, brother.
Still waiting for you all to touch down on my side.
We coming.
Yeah, I can have to contribute to whoever bringing you all so you all can see what's real.
Yes.
And you know I ain't lie because me and a couple of my boys, try to be diplomatic, like what the professors say, and try reading upon this constitution thing. And so we approach the person who's supposed to be representing. And everything what you say, Cartwright, it's fully everything what you say is correct. They don't know nothing. They only reciting. It almost sound like a skit. I don't know if I'm making sense to you.
You making sense.
It almost sound like a skit because for what I know, we ask him the same thing because how we feel when we sit down and we start to talk, it feels like you're all trying to grow this country with non-Bahamians. You understand? Because we start to look at what was happening in Ohio.
Yes.
Oh, you know, Ohio in the States.
Yeah.
Even if you look the Haitian migrants, and if you look at Pennsylvania, then if you look at New York, if you keep going down the trend, you got governments with bringing these people in. I'm talking about by the thousands.
Yeah.
And then you have the UN. We're talking about they doing little things once you give a little incentive so you wouldn't repatriate.
But you know,
now let me
say this to you before you go on. You know, it's so funny, right? But if you look at the Haitian Constitution, 2 Bahamians having a child in Haiti can never become a Haitian. And so I'm looking at these things and I asked the senior politician, I said, man, how is it that these people don't want you to have their sovereignty, but they want us to allow them to have their sovereignty and my sovereignty? I said, man, chief, this ain't making no sense.
Watch this, sir. Do you know every nation that last night we was doing like the similarities to what now they going through, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, voices what we going through. And do you know that's Ohio mostly is white people.
Yeah.
They talking about the overcrowded of their school system, the burden of their healthcare and stuff like that. Then they talking about the birth rates over there. You see what I'm saying? They talking about how the birth rates rights. So I sit back now and I say, I listen to you, I listen to the professor, and to be real with you, and like what I say, enough lessons you always, because we wouldn't have known it. So any Bahamians would speak differently. I wouldn't say they lying or whatever. But until you all keep sticking that now, we didn't know. So you could imagine a 35-year-old man. I 35 and I just starting to see what you all say, but I see the problem a long time. Now here's what scared me, Thor. You could imagine you have somebody would leading you, but at the same time lying to you, but knowing they lying to you. You have somebody would have a constitution. I talking about any laws were being broke. You could fix it like right away. Do you all know right now, as we speak, pull it up, fact check me, whatever you want to do. As we speak right now, Dominican Republic saying they doing because they seeing a mass, rising it. Now they starting to deport tens and thousands. It hit the news like a bullet last night.
Yeah.
Because they, like I'm saying, they scattering their people to me around the world. When they reach, they trying to overt you, then the mountain, they trying to change laws and things. And we sit down and reflect. What really is the agenda? What I want to ask you, Cartwright,
Yes.
and in your souls and hearts of hearts, and from your tongue to God's ear, what you really think is the agenda behind that? Because our nation is not a nation of millions of people. So I feel we shouldn't be without health care. If I lie, let me know. I feel like we should have free education. I feel like everybody should be doing well. I feel like we have, because we're a blank slate, we have, we can look at other nations and see what they did right and implement it, and see what they did wrong and put legislations against that.
Yes.
Yes.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
I agree with you, bro.
I'm asking you and Professor, why is it you have politicians would refuse? Like he said, there's only two religions, the Bible and your Constitution. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Why is it that you can start, like you give a good illustration of what is his name? Ingram, the former prime minister.
Yeah.
We would call him great, but I look at what he from Abaco, right?
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Well, actually,
look at what he did to the people in Abaco.
Actually, he is from Grand Bahama.
No, we ain't claim him. Don't do that.
No, but I just tell you, he was born in Grand Bahama.
No. No. Check that boy right.
No, I'm telling you.
Well, we ain't claim him. We
Yeah.
ain't claim him.
He was
Go-
born in Grand Bahama, and then he went to Abaco with a relative. But he was born in Grand Bahama. He was born in Pine Ridge.
But it's six of us right here, right
Yeah.
now, listening to my call on my minutes, right?
Yeah.
What we come together, want to ask you and the professor, right? Why is it that you have a constitution, right? And then you have this national
Nationality
Right.
Act. Yeah.
Why, if one supersedes the other, you choose to go with the one, the lesser than? And then why come to your people and do what you see? None of them could say they ain't do what they doing us. It's six of us, I in school, right? It's six of us.
Yeah.
When we come back, all six of us been to school for different reasons. And the one thing what they saying to us, we overqualify or we can't do this. And when you go to the main places down here, you know what I mean? When you listen to Chester Cooper and see, we waiting on him to land in Freeport and come amongst us so he could get eat. Because he portraying this picture like Freeport is doing well. That's why I say, whoever organizing you all to come, whatever we gather up, that on us. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you all could see it from your own eye. But I need you to answer that question, Professor. Why would they do that? If you say you have love for me, because what we gathering trying to catch who is who, I don't feel like true Bohemians leading us. That's our feeling, but we need that question to be asked. Why are they not following the Constitution, sir?
Well, bro, I can be frank with you. And this is something that my father used to say to me. If you see a lie and you keep believing that lie, or you repeat that lie over and over, you tend to believe that lie is the truth.
We get that. We know our lies move things, right?
And
but I'm saying, why do that to your people?
well,
and then come back. You catch what I can say?
Yeah, I understand
you so party driven. Tell like it being to me, it's like this. When you put somebody into a system for a long time, I talking about 20 years or more, it's hard to destruct their mind. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It's really hard to destruct their mind because they believe in what you were saying. Even if you go back to way from Finland days, I think we've been deceived.
Yes.
But now you have us who you're kind of cracking through. Like you see what I'm saying? But it's so confusing because you're being like, Jesus, all of this time, you trying to tell me now you all write a law, but there is a law that supersedes that law. Because let me tell you all something. There's a Haitian guy who's sitting down with me right now, and I tell him if he open his mouth, we would deport him.
Don't threaten the fella.
No, I tell him that.
Don't threaten the brother. Just ask him. No,
let me tell you
all
what
right, here's what I want you to do with him. Ask him, how did he get his documentation?
But
Ask him.
We eating him right now, but
Yeah.
he ain't talk because he see me on the phone already, but
Yeah.
he's right here.
And
I
ask
tell
him
if he open his mouth,
how.
let me tell you.
How is it that in his country, you as a Bahamian have no right, but in your country, he wants that right that he doesn't have in his own country? Just ask him that.
But you hear what he just said? He said because they're Haitian.
Oh,
you see how he
now.
answered me?
Yeah,
But
but
now let me say,
I
let
like
me
that
tell him-
answer. So know that telling me, he's saying to us, we are fools. He is smart. See,
Right,
because
because
you telling me about your ethnicity, and because you're Haitian, you don't have that right. But in the Bahamas, because you're Haitian, you should have that right. No.
Gentlemen, we have to go to a break. Call, I want to thank you for your contribution.
let me just say this, Cadre. I want you, when you come back from off the break, so he could hear this. Tell him why, because he believes because he born here. He's trying to tell him, but I want to hear it from your mouth.
Okay, I'll
tell
explain
him
it.
why. Because he's born here, that does not give him status.
Caller, we'll have to cut it.
Okay,
because
I'll
we're going to a break.
respond to him after
We're
the
going
break.
to a break. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. Interesting questions being asked. Bahamians, we have to know our Constitution. That is the bottom line. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. We're on Open Line Friday. We'll be back after the break.
Express Yourself Live will return right after this. to Blue Hill Road. It's your chance to join the discussion of today's issue. Let your voice be heard. Speak your mind and express yourself. Call in and participate at 326-0271 or 326-0272. WhatsApp us your concerns on 809-2310. Follow us live on Facebook and globalradio99.5fm.com. Express yourself.
This is Professor Sidney MacArthur Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network 99.5 FM. This is Express Yourself Open Line Friday. We're having an exciting conversation today. Before we went to the break, a caller had asked a very important question for Brother Cartwright to answer. I think I'll have something to say on it as well. But Brother Cartwright, you can begin.
Yes. Before I answer that caller, someone just sent me a video of fire at Exuma at the fish fry. And right now they say they're battling, trying to get the fire under control. I hope they do, because that's a big business for those people down there in Exuma.
Yes, it is.
And for them to have those stalls and stuff, not being able to get that fire under control, it'd be very detrimental to that community. But now, yes, I will now answer that caller, and I would answer the gentleman who he said claimed that he was born here. According to this Constitution, Article 7.1 said a person born in the Bahamas after the 9th of July 73, where neither parents. Okay, let me take this call and then I will continue with this question.
I'll call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Yes, hey, how are you?
Good, Mr. Carter. I'm Mr. Cartwright. How you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
No, just I have my TV on. I come in the next room.
Okay.
First of all, the whole discussion about Freeport is based on campaign financing. Are we familiar with that?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, I hear you call. I am familiar. I'm familiar with it.
It's based on finance campaigning,
Yes.
which the present government is not interested in dealing with. And the Freedom Information Act, like Professor was saying earlier, can disclose all the mysteries and the unknowns.
Yes.
But what I'm saying to you today, oh, by the way, Professor, it was my birthday yesterday, you know.
Oh, happy young day.
Happy
Not
birthday.
an old day. Happy young day.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
anyway,
man.
because the show was
Happy
doing
birthday.
something for my
Yes.
birthday, yeah. So anyway, and what I did call in today to tell you is, I predict at 5 minutes to 4, and I will hang up right after this, a gentleman will call in to debunk everything that enthusiastic guy from Freeport is saying, and he's going to say, why can't Bahamians and Haitians live together? We all from Africa. And you're all going to say good night. This is Friday. I see it happen like strategically by these people. He probably won't call today, because if he's hearing this, he's been outed. Because I believe, like the man was saying, there's a strategic move to replace Bahamians. Because the Haitian Constitution, like you said, Mr. Carter, right, is based on annihilation of everybody else and allowing them to exist in anybody's country who's dumb enough to make up their own immigration, their own constitutions like we did, and to be overpopulated by a country that can't stop making babies. Let's face it. They got 12 million last year. They got another million this year, and the Bahamians can't see this. And these people got to go somewhere. Even Donald Trump called it out. So, like, I don't advocate the eating the cat stuff.
Yeah. But
With
caller,
the Haitian population.
but caller, here's the thing, right?
Yes, sir.
When you look at birth rates, right?
Mhm.
It's been said that Haitians roughly on a yearly basis 100,000 new babies born.
Mhm.
When you look at that
Third
graphic
of the Bahamian population.
compared to the Bahamas,
1/3.
that's already 1/3.
Yes, sir.
And you know, one of the things I always say to people over and over from other countries, not only Haiti, but I said, listen, if your constitution doesn't allow me to be a
Yeah,
citizen.
yeah.
Why should I bend
Why
over
should
back
I-
and allow you?
Because it's designed to annihilate you
Yeah.
and cause them to prosper and replace you. That's how it's designed.
But see, I already now studied this Constitution, and I've been blessed that when I go to Parliament, I'm not afraid to ask any member of Parliament the question I ask. Because why? I don't go there looking for nothing from them. I don't go there asking them for nothing. I basically ask them questions pertaining to the Constitution, and the answer they give me, then when I come on a show like this, I could say, I wouldn't call their names, but if they listening, they would know, yes, that fella been talking to me, and this is what he said. And I always say to people, if anything I say pertaining to the Constitution or a member of Parliament says that I misplace in his words, he can always call and we can clarify it. Because I tell him, I repeat what you say.
Yes, sir.
And so if I'm wrong, then you call and tell me, listen, man, I didn't say it like that. Okay, I apologize. But I've never had nobody contradict me, and that's why I stay with the Constitution. I tell people, oh, no, I am not interested in political parties. I am interested in governance of this land that the Constitution applied us. And I keep telling people, this Constitution is non-political.
Not one person in government will come and disagree with you or take you to court for saying it. Because their design is to stay quiet on it. And like you say, the lie will become the truth.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, my
Well,
brother.
thank you for your contribution. We have another call on the line. Call you live on air. Go ahead, please.
Yes. Good afternoon, Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson, and Mr. Richard Cartwright.
Yes, ma'am.
Bernice Johnson, the original. I always must give thanks to the Almighty God through Jesus Christ of Nazareth and the Holy Spirit. I will be straightforward. Because first, divine salutations to all my recipients, and especially my mortal boss, former Prime Minister Hubert Alexander, and Mr. Christie and Mr. Davis, who God has ushered in for a time such as now, and Her Excellency for life. Quinlan name shall be cleared. Now, all I want to put to you and all those who are in Grand Bahama, the young man who called in, I think he used to be in Georgia, employed in Georgia, in a good position. He could call back and confirm. But what has to happen? We need it to be addressed because, see, some of these women who are seeking revenge against this Bahamas because of certain ancestors who were prosecuted for certain crimes back in the, I think it was the 40s and the 50s. Now, we must concentrate on the Zion Baptist, Pastor Terence Gerard Morrison, when he said there's going to be this cataclysmic sermon that he preached about just, I think, a year or so ago. We anticipated this and we were working on this because the attack on the Bahamian consulate in 1980 of October, go and research it. This
Berenice,
has been all planned.
Hold on,
okay?
Berenice. Berenice, you're wandering all over the place, man.
I'm not wondering.
What is it you specifically want to say today to the Bahamian people? Can you be very specific?
The pastor, Terence G. Morrison.
Yes.
At this administration, when they went to, I think it was some church service.
Yes.
And he spoke about a cataclysmic event is going to happen. Okay. And I told him, I reminded him, because he's way younger than me, that's Mr. Urban Boswick, adopted son, and George Mackey grew him up. Okay? He testified to that. I told him in 1980, our Bahamian consulate in Miami came under attack. And I told the two women who claimed to be the first in capacity in the public parliament that they had files on them and their siblings, and the one I described as an almanac. They were on the airway. The siblings appeared. Roma Tyler Johnson and Mrs. Janet Boswick. Now they can deal with this because We have to deal with it, and that is why the NIA is coming in. And I told them, Mr. Monroe is the best man because he has
Berenice,
experience in
Berenice,
that.
Berenice, see, you're
Yes.
wandering all over the place because here we are, the masses are suffering at this particular time. It is the duty of the government of the Bahamas to protect the interests of the Bahamian people. You're saying this particular personality, who is the prime minister, was ushered in for this time to do what? To protect the interests of the Bahamian people?
To cause the dignity of humanity and the ownership of land, because we have the information reference to His Majesty King Charles III, and there's need for no referendum for that because the Bible started from the British monarchy.
But
that's why I laugh at you.
Hold on, madam.
Yes, sir.
I was basically, someone had called the show earlier, the young man of the Grand Bahama, and he was asking a particular question dealing with citizenship because he said that he had someone there who said that, yes, I'm Haitian, but I was born in, and he wanted me to give him answer. What we are talking about with this Constitution of the Bahamas, which was the independence order, it has no ties to any political party. This is a template for us who sit, for those who sit in Parliament to govern. It isn't whether it's a F&M constitution, a PLP, COI. This is a constitution for the Bahamas. And if any member of Parliament, because see, I will tell you, only Parliament has that authority to make laws. If any member of Parliament, from the PRI minister down to the very end, if they do not conform to this constitution, they're in violation, period. So
okay.
I don't have, for me, my earthly gods were my parents.
Okay, no, my God is Father of Jesus Christ.
No, I said my earthly God was my parents.
And
I know,
before
my
them,
parents
also, my parents
yes,
and my ancestors are from the Freetown area, and we own most all of those properties. That is how come I tell you the Bahamian people were misled by some of those from Turks and Caicos Island, and that's how come.
But Berenice,
yesterday.
Can I just stop you? Hold on for the cartwright. See, the thing is, I want this conversation not to be going all over the place because we can't operate like that live on the radio. We're specifically looking at the government of the Bahamas. What is it that the government of the Bahamas is to be doing to protect the interests of these people, you say, who are underprivileged, who are hurting, they need this, they need that. What is the duty of the government of the Bahamas?
They will address it in the National Intelligence Agency because it has
How long is it going to take, Berenice? 51 years?
Pardon?
51 years we've been playing around?
They will get the compensation what they try to have.
When are they going to get this compensation?
You said Lincoln Bain is supposed to give people $100,000. He promised that. Those monies are in place. We have certain people who are manipulating the money. That's how come people flying up and down and all around throughout the United States and the Eurasia bloc.
Okay.
Tell Bishop Corley, come on your show so I can deal with him.
Berenice, thank you for your contribution. See, this thing is getting way out of hand. I have to stop it at this point.
Yeah.
Because this is why I got to deal with the Constitution on Monday. There is tremendous misunderstanding about how we ought to be operating our country. She's talking about some women, talking about some people in the past who got land, who stole land, what have you. I don't want to get into all of that. We have a constitution. The Constitution says how the government of the Bahamas ought to be functioning. 51 years has passed. We're in the year 52. And it doesn't seem as if the government of the Bahamas is acting in the best interest of the Bahamian people. We've had one administration after another. The Bahamian electorate gave one particular party 35 seats out of 39. In the last election, the Bahamian electorate gave another party 32 seats. So both political parties have had the opportunity to do something of importance for the Bahamian people. There's nothing blocking them from doing what they ought to do. They have the numbers in the House. So what are they doing? We still cannot seem to get any movement on anything. And these are the people that are running your national affairs. These are the people in charge. All we see, do you see the murder rate in this country? You see how out of control it is? And the man can tell the other fellas, say, we're just as concerned as you are. And they can have this big row back and forth as to what happened when you were in and what happened when I'm out and that kind of thing. Where are we going with this? That is not helping the average Bahamian. He is suffering. The man have a baby in his arms, shot to death at the age of 27, right in front of his children.
I'd like to get this guy's question.
Yeah, go ahead, Brother Cartwright.
All right, to the gentleman out of Freeport who claims that he's Haitian, was born in the Bahamas. Here's what the Constitution says to you. 718. A person born in the Bahamas after the 9th of July 73, neither parents are citizen of the Bahamas, shall be entitled upon making application for him attaining at the age of 18 or within 12 months in such manner. And it goes down and said, provided that you are not a citizen of another country, and by your own admission, you said that you're Haitian.
That's right.
So by you saying that you're Haitian, and because your parents are Haitian, the Haitian Constitution provides you with citizenship.
That's right.
So, since you cannot renounce, the government of the Bahamas does not have to grant you any citizenship, and they owe you nothing.
Nothing. Absolutely.
Now, if you want to, the government can now go to Parliament and create a permanent residency law or expand the one they have now, and you could probably apply it underneath that. But the Nationality Act is a farce, and so you don't qualify.
No.
And so in my closing, I would say to everyone, please read your Constitution. Read it. You will not learn it in one day. Take your time. Go through it. You know, I still got my brother on the line, Brother Hyler. You know, I'm going to bow out and allow him because so we can make this, because we're about to get to the show.
Yes. Brother Hyler, go ahead, please. Brother Hyler, are you still there? Or is he gone? Apparently he's gone off the line. Okay. Oh, go ahead. Ask Brother Hyler to comment quickly before we get off air. I'm not hearing him.
Go ahead, Brother Hyler.
We're not hearing from him. Mr. Bruce?
Yeah,
Okay,
Brother Hyler.
Okay, I'm here now.
Your comments.
Yes, just briefly. The Bahamian people are in great pain and anguish at this time. We can hear it in their voices.
Yes,
action has to be taken because it seems like every month there's something else. So I won't be long. Let me just say, Professor,
yes,
3 of those properties have already been sold, and 100 properties belonging to Bahamians have been earmarked to be auctioned off. 100 have been earmarked to be auctioned off. And one of our financial leaders, Mr. Alkides, is saying that he supports the activity. I'll just leave it there. This have to stop somewhere. We have to come together. We have to work together, and we have to feel one another's pain and do what we can to stop this action against the Bahamian people. That's all I can say for now.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Hyler, for your contribution. We're very close to the end of the show. I got to turn off at this point. Thank you very much for participating, and thank you, audience, for listening to the show. I think we have another show coming up from Grand Bahama. Not today? Oh, not today. My producer said it's not today. All right. But I still got to get off the air. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson on the Global Radio Network. Of course, Monday is Constitution Day. Don't you forget Constitution Day on Monday. No one else will be in here except me, so you can throw those questions at me at that point in time. This is Professor Sidney MacArthur, Walter Thompson. Please be safe over the weekend, and we want you to be safe. Thank you very much for listening, and have a pleasant afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests and not necessarily the opinions of the owners of Global Communications Network and the operators of this radio station.
This is 99.5 Global FM, your number one source for R&B in the Bahamas.
Bahamian feel-good food in the right atmosphere. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever you choose.